Welcome to the Weight Loss Podcast, where we offer solutions to the obstacles you face when it comes to achieving your health and fitness goals. As a married couple who's lost a combined weight of 100 kilograms and 11 clothes sizes, our raw, real, and relatable stories will show you the path you must walk to achieve and, more importantly, maintain the results you know you can reach. Because we know it works. So get ready to share the success and show the results with your hosts, Matt and Courtney.
Yes, welcome to the Weight Loss Podcast. I am Courtney. As always, next to me is Matt.
I am Matt, yes, welcome.
And today's episode, as you've probably already seen the title, is 5 questions to ask before changing your plan.
Yes, so if you've experienced this where you're constantly wondering, okay, is this plan working? Is this going anywhere? And you get tempted to start or stop the current program and potentially start another one or jump on another diet, every few weeks, every few months, this is for you. So by the end of this today, we're going to give you a framework. So there are 5 questions you can ask yourself before you change a thing. So ideally, you stop wasting and burning money, energy, and time. So there's a pretty good chance that in the past, you have probably changed your plan right before it has started working.
Yeah.
This is going to help you avoid that.
Yes.
So let's just dive straight in, shall we?
Let's do it.
So if you are watching or listening to us, no doubt with your past experience, you've tried things like, let's call them out, Weight Watchers here in Australia, Jenny Craig.
Yes.
Various meal replacement shakes, protein shakes, keto, clean eating, intermittent fasting, carnivore, vegan, random gym challenges. How long have we got?
I don't know. I was just seeing how long you would keep going for.
Walking programs, free apps, paid apps. Now, hey, it's 2025. Ozempic, insert drug doesn't teach you a thing here. And a pattern develops. So we start something new the first couple of weeks. It's like, okay, it's a fresh start, new plan, new me, super excited. Let's go mega strict and get everything right. And then week 3, life happens, shit happens, the unexpected happens. Progress may start to slow down, feels like you haven't quite got momentum, or if you're weighing yourself religiously, the scale bounces all over the place. Come week 4, this is shit, this doesn't work, this isn't doing anything for me, I must need something different, and then rinse and repeat year after year after year.
Yes.
I mean, how does that make us feel? Frustration?
Frustration.
Frustration of like, I've tried everything and nothing seems to work, which is a common thing that I've heard a lot over a very, very long time now. I've tried everything and nothing seems to work. We're going to fix that today. But also creates self-doubt.
Yeah.
So it's where you can start to think, well, there's something wrong with me, or I'm just one of those people that can't do this.
Exception to the rule.
Yeah, the exception to the rule. Or it can also create fear.
Yes.
Like if this is difficult for me now and this keeps going the way it is, where am I going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? And that's one thing I notice as people that are, I'm going to use the term older. When I say older, I'm talking 40s and above, that will come through to people like us, and they become more and more aware of like, hey, I'm getting towards the age where potentially my parents were when I realized, oh, they don't look after themselves.
Yeah.
Or friends or whatever, where you notice in the past, like, oh, they hit that age and things started to really slide off. And it can create a sense of fear. Now, Courtney, you personally, can you share your sort of own experience with stop starting things before you sort of learned how to make things stick?
Yeah, I don't know if I tried that many what you would call, I guess, fad things.
Yep.
I would just do more of a restriction style dieting. So I would just try to restrict my intake or try to restrict the amount of certain food groups, things like that. But yes, always it would be a stop-start thing because it got to the point. I do wonder, looking back in reflection, whether it was I would stop-start because it was unmanageable because of the restrictions I was trying to put on myself. But there would have also been a time in there that obviously you get disheartened because you're not seeing the results from the sacrifices you're making as well. So there was probably a bit of both, but I would say more from a sustainability standpoint as to why I would give up.
How long would it normally take until you gave up?
Not long, because as I said, it was very restrictive. I thought that, it was the less you ate, the better. I was trying to put a lot of restrictions on myself, and then I would end up being so hungry that I'd go into these binge cycles, and then you go into this emotional eating headspace, and then you're upset with yourself for what you've done, and then it would spiral from there. So it wouldn't take me long to give up on those.
What, weeks, months?
I would be shocked if I ever lasted months.
Really?
Yeah.
I never personally had this, but the reason why this particular topic is worth us talking about is because the amount of people I've seen it in doing this for a living. And it is extremely common where, like, the people I've been exposed to and have worked with for a long time now have plenty of experience not lasting with things for very long before stopping, before changing. So one of the questions I always ask people when I first get to know them of like, okay, what's the longest you stuck with something? And the common answers are a few weeks, maybe a few months. And then you contrast that to once you sort of give someone a real structure to follow and a plan, but also a roadmap of like, okay, here's the path you're going to be walking down, and we're going to navigate this path. And that's where things start to change. So it's usually a surprise for people when they say to me, oh, the longest I've stuck with something is 2 months. And I turn around and say, well, we start minimum 12 months working together. And usually on average, I know for me, I've been with clients for like 2 to 3 years. And it's not because you want it to take that long, but because when you're dealing with human beings and the fluid nature of people and the emotions involved, like there is real time frame with this.
Yes.
So it sounds daunting at the start where you say to someone, well, just saying, hey, you've got a few years worth of work here in front of you. It can sound extremely daunting until you've got a framework and a path and a structure to follow. So the majority of people that I've worked with don't actually need a new plan all the time. It's more they need a better way of deciding when to change it or if to change it.
If, I guess, is the big
because sometimes the best decision you make is the one to stay the course.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't know how close you are to striking gold.
Yeah.
With this. So that's what these 5 questions are for. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take you through, because these questions have a sequence as well, which is what makes this framework so useful. So we're going to go through in order each question, explain why it matters.
Yes.
But then also, as we go through this, give you a very simple path to follow here. So if the answer to this question is yes, do this. If the answer to this question is no, do that.
Yes.
So let's dive in, Courtney.
All right. Question 1.
What is the first question to ask before changing your plan?
Am I actually following my current plan more often than not?
Yeah. So real talk, like don't blame the plan if you are inconsistent. If you're only following it or executing it, 40 to 50% of the time, like you can't assess a plan when it's executed inconsistently. It's just as simple as that. So what we want to do is introduce a more often than not rule here as your initial standard for consistency. And it's worth mentioning that consistency is different from person to person and what level they're at with this. So like, for example, My level of consistency now, literally decades into this, is different than my level of consistency 20 years ago.
Yes.
But to begin with, if you're sort of more of a beginner or intermediate level, introduce the more often than not rule. So what happens is most people will change their plan because, well, let's be honest here, they're not seeing results from a plan they're not really following.
Yes.
So what do you expect is going to happen?
Yes.
So what does this look like in terms of numbers? Well, if you are hitting the plan 60 to ideally upwards of 80% of the time, that's what I would consider on plan in the real world. So taking it back to the program that we have and how we do things, we really simplify this. There's only 3 pillars that we focus on. Execute your training plan consistently. Meal plan, meal prep consistently. And then follow the cues that we give for accountability, which is sending through feedback, check-ins, the occasional food diary, etc., working through the learning resources that you've been given. Follow that consistently. So I've seen people make insane changes on only 60% consistency.
Yes.
But I'm not going to say that is going to be a blanket rule for everyone. I would be more going, if you're getting higher up towards 80% consistency, then you can really start to assess the plan. So if the answer is yes, you are mostly consistent, well, then we can now move on to the next question, can't we?
Yes.
But if the answer is no, I'm not consistent at least 60 to 80% of the time, well, you probably don't need, actually, you definitely don't need a new plan. You need a way to make the one you've got easier to follow, or, and I'm going to be real here, in some cases, you need to pull your finger out of your butt and actually apply yourself.
Do you think that there is a option here? So what would you say to the person where if they said, with this particular one, I don't feel like the plan that I've chosen to follow allows for the sort of consistency that I need?
What do you mean?
So what if they've realised after they've started the plan that it says unsustainable plan?
Oh, okay. Have a chat. Be open about that. Give that feedback to the person or people that have given you the plan and see if there's flexibility. If there is not flexibility, the plan is shit.
It falls in the diet category.
And then it is definitely worth changing your plan because
Yes.
the plan sucks.
Yes.
A good plan has to be, there has to be some structure and there has to be a framework, but within that, there must be some sort of flexibility because we're all different.
Yes.
Like, I can't expect to give someone a MAT hyper advanced year 20 program when they're just in year 1.
Yes.
And
expect them to be hitting 60 to 80%
no, it has to,
consistency.
there has to be the ability to tailor it to the individual to meet them where they're at and gradually work them up, you know, as in terms of as their skills improve, their habits improve, their knowledge improves, the plan should evolve with them.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely you have to bring that up and give the coach, the trainer, whoever it is, the option to go, oh, thanks for the feedback.
Let's modify this.
Let's modify this. And this is a question like, I've had this come back to me where someone has said like, hey, big boy, I can't make this work. Okay, cool. Let's change this. Let's find a way, because the golden rule is the best plan is the one you can stick to.
Yes.
Okay, so you modify it. But if it can't be modified, in the bin it goes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's then, we should probably revise this. If you know the plan you're following, deep down, you know this can be sustained, but you aren't hitting the level of consistency required, and you know it is just a case of I need to apply myself more, which is a real thing.
Which is a real thing, and you have to be really honest with yourself about that.
I'll tell you one thing. My personal experience doing this, it is 8 to 9 times out of 10, the issue isn't the plan I've given them is unsustainable.
Yeah.
It is they have their head up their ass and aren't genuinely doing their best, their actual best.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have got it wrong. because we're all human,
Yeah.
but I'm not married to my ego. We just change it. Thanks for the feedback. Appreciate that. Let's work together. Let's collaborate and adjust this. But the vast majority of the time, it's just the person is unserious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you aren't being consistent, then either how do we make this easier to follow, or what's it going to take for you to be serious about this and actually put in what you know is a real effort? But let's say the answer is yes, you are mostly consistent. We move on to the next questions, which is question number 2, Courtney.
Yes. Have I given this plan enough time?
Because most people will bail out way too soon,
Yes.
way before their bodies had time to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is where one of the biggest mistakes you'll see people make going into any sort of program, like weight loss journey, whatever it might be, the expectations are not realistic. Now, I'll be fair, sometimes actually more than sometimes, very often these unrealistic expectations are set by the people trying to take your money.
Very true.
Like,
Yes.
oh, okay, so you've had emotional eating or binge eating or self-confidence issues for decades. We're going to solve it in 12 weeks. So please pay a few $1,000s here.
No, it won't be solved in that time frame. Yes, I agree. I also think that we do live in a instant society as well, right?
The
So
instant gratification.
We live in a society now with social media, before and after photos, that you miss the story that goes along with it often, and you're just seeing the end result. And that I think has a bias on our decision making when it comes to expectations.
Big time.
And it makes us think that happens quicker for other people. And then you start to question yourself, why isn't it happening quicker for me? There's something wrong with the plan. There's something wrong with what I'm doing. I'm not doing enough, or they did something different to what I did because it couldn't possibly have taken them this long to get results.
And that's what can set you up to fail. Expectations are the biggest reason that I've experienced that people fall off with this, is what they're expecting or what they've been led to expect does not marry up with what's actually real here. Now, this is why with like our program, it's a minimum sign up of 12 months. Like if you're not prepared to commit for 12 months, come back when you are.
Yes.
And as I said earlier, on average, our clients are with us for like upwards of 2 to 3 years, because that is a real time frame here. Because I break this down for most people where year 1 is learning how to get a tremendous result. But year 2 is learning how to keep a tremendous result, because that's where people will fall off. Like plenty of people can lose weight. Not many can keep it off. That's actually the hard part.
Yes.
So I'll explain the way that we go about things here with giving a plan enough time. I tell every client the first 12 weeks is purely about you establishing your routines and your habits to make them doable.
Yes.
Like I personally, I don't give 2 shits how much someone does or doesn't change in the first 12 weeks. It's like, it's not even on the radar. It's like, okay, are you consistent with your training plan? Are you consistently meal planning and prepping and, making better choices more consistently? And are you learning how to be accountable and how to record what's worth recording with this?
Yeah.
And that's just the first 3 months. And it's always a learning curve for everyone, because it's new, it's difficult, it's confronting. I don't personally start to really I'll look at someone's progress photos every 6 weeks, but I don't start to take those progress photos seriously until like the 6-month mark. Because by then enough time has passed where it's like, righto, your habits should be established and you should now be building on them and improving them, and then we can be refining them and evolving them. Now you contrast everything I've just said with these 21-day challenges.
Yeah.
8-week, 12 weeks challenges. And even I remember when I first became a PT, I was always taught that you sell things in 12-week blocks, which even back then, this is like 2010, 2011, even back then, that seemed like a long time compared to the trainers I was meeting when I was first working in gyms were literally signing people up on just like week-to-week
stuff
basis. And I thought to myself, 12 weeks is an eternity compared to that. But not long after that did I realize, hang on, I'm playing the wrong game here. The people that I work with, the people that are like me, like I didn't change my life in 12 weeks.
No.
What? Why am I signing people up for 12-week programs when they're just getting started after 12 weeks? And that's when I had the big brained idea, I'll make it 12 months. It hasn't changed since.
Yeah, because the problem I think with also signing, people up for programs for 12 weeks is that, again, that goes to our skewed expectation of results.
Well, I think what that does is it puts a timeline or a time frame on people that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that we want this to take any longer than it has to.
Yeah.
Because like if I could wave the magic wand and solve people's problems in 12 weeks or less, one, I would. Two, I'd 10x the prices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Straight up. But that's just not how it works in real life. So with a lot of people, you actually can help them by making them understand that, hey, you know what? We want this to happen as fast as it can. However, we're going to take away the time pressure because everyone comes along at their own speed.
Yes.
Everyone's at different levels of readiness.
Yes.
You might say. So one thing I noticed with the 12-week, the drawback on these short-term programs is that people will think to themselves, oh, shit, I'm at week 6 of my 12-week sign-up. I've only got 6 weeks left to do this. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You've got the next 12 months. You've got the next 2 years. You've got the next 5 years because this is an iterative developing process.
Yes.
Like for me, I'm evolving now like year 20 plus.
This is a lifestyle change.
Cliche, but it's true.
Yes.
So the self-check here with the question of have I given this plan enough time is to look at these sort of audits, you might say.
Yes.
1, how long have I actually followed this plan at 70 to 80% and sometimes beyond consistency? Like if I'm someone who has been fluffing around for 2 months and then for 4 weeks, I just go hell for leather and I get up to 70, 80% consistency. Oh, well, where are my results? I've been doing well here for a month. Like, come on now. You've been doing well for a month.
Yeah.
So you start by looking at how long have I actually been following this at this high level of standard and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at, okay, have I been doing this for weeks, if not months? Or am I that sort of person that is nailing it Monday to Thursday, Monday to Friday, and then just hands up in the air for Friday, Saturday, Sunday? They're the questions I'll be asking myself.
Yeah.
Now, what I like to, I look at people, I don't start to sort of judge I call it winning streaks, getting on a winning streak. I don't judge how someone is changing once they're on a winning streak until that winning streak has gone upwards of 6 months. Because by then you've established clear metabolic momentum, things should start to be moving and you should be really feeling some differences. I've got more energy, I've got more strength, I'm recovering faster. I don't feel as lethargic or sluggish or heavy.
Yeah.
You know, like I wake up I get no brain fog through the day, or for some people, and this is a massive one, like my food noise is starting to quieten down. Like, you little ripper. This is great feedback.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can, as time goes by, you can sort of marry that up with, okay, now what's your body doing on the outside?
Yeah.
As well. However, if the answer is yes, I have been consistent and I have given this a good 3-6 month crack of being consistent and just I'm not noticing any improvements here. Okay, let's look at that. What's missing? However, If the answer is no, I haven't given this plan enough time, stay the course.
Yeah.
Don't change a thing. Your job is to not change the plan. It's to continue to collect the data of what you're doing for another full 8 to 12 weeks. Because the thing is as well, keep in mind, even though you may be putting in a lot of time and a lot of effort and you don't feel like anything is really shifting, you are still laying the foundation. Like those training sessions aren't a waste.
No.
Building gradual habits and skill in the kitchen,
It's not a waste.
it absolutely is not a waste, because the thing is, they're going to pay off eventually.
Yes.
It's inevitable.
Yes.
It's a compound interest thing where the more you do it, eventually it's going to pay off. And when it pays off, it's going to pay off big.
Yes.
So let's move on to question 3, Courtney.
Yes.
We just spoke about this.
Yes. Are my expectations realistic for my life and starting point?
Yes. So in fact, and this is the thing I see with clients on our program where they will shoot themselves in the foot. The plan itself is fine. Your expectations are out of whack. They're not realistic. What are some common unrealistic expectations where people really get this wrong? Well, it's wanting what I call wedding prep speed. Like, hey, I'm getting married in 3 months. I need to really just get shredded for these photos. However, they are also working full time. They're raising kids. They sleep like shit. They're managing injuries because they might be a bit older in life, or they're a bit older in life. They're going through menopause. They've developed diabetes.
Yeah.
A common example I see is, and I've had this with a lot of chats, where you'll have someone come through and they're in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about what used to happen when they were in their 20s, when they were in better shape and they could go to the gym 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 2 times a day, and they could virtually eat whatever they wanted. And it wouldn't catch up with them. They could have nights out with their friends. They'd recover the next day. And then you contrast that to where they are now. They're in their 40s, an extra 20 years of life. They got kids. They got their career. They're in a different chapter of their life. So what happens is they'll come in their 40s expecting it should be the same process as when they're in their 20s. Like, you're in a different chapter now. Things are different.
Yeah.
So the expectations need to be adjusted based on the chapter of life you're in now. So if I have, for example, let's say I have 2 people come through, right? One is super early 20s, maybe just finished studying and is going into the start of their career, and they still live with mum and dad. They have no kids. Contrast that to the next person who's in their 40s, big time, full-time career that gives them a lot of stress. They love their job, but there's a lot of stress involved. 2 kids, 3 kids that play sport, the responsibilities of being a parent, being a husband, being a wife. I'm going to put very different expectations on them, because I know the person in their 20s who has less on their plate right now can probably be given a bit more to deal with.
Yeah.
Where the person in their 40s juggling all those things at once, like, we have to find a way to make the plan and the program fit into the current chapter of their life.
Yeah, before they even really focus on learning a lot of new skills on top of that, everything.
Yep. Yep. So you can't, it's just you can't put the round peg into the square hole with this. So expectations and expectation management is critical. And it's the same thing with expectations on the time frame, but also the difficulty. Where I've seen this so many times of, like, people just somehow expect that everything else in life has random busy times, stressful times, chaotic times, except losing all this weight should be smooth and easy.
Yeah.
Like, I got news for you, buddy.
It's not going to happen.
I got news for you. So what with reframing expectations, I would rather remove the thought process of how fast can I lose this and replace it with, well, what rate of work and what rate of progress fits my life right now? Because I go back to that rule, the best program is the one that you can stick to.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I agree.
So I would say if, being honest, your expectations are off, the first thing I would do is stretch the timeline. So like I said before, 12 weeks, throw it out. Let's make it 1 year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years for some people.
Take the pressure off.
Take the pressure off because the time's going to elapse anyway. And as I said, yes, we want to get you there as fast as we can, but it has to be manageable.
Has to be sustainable.
Well, also, if you want to make it stick,
Yeah.
it will take more time to make it stick.
Yes.
And there's a point here as well, Courtney, with expectations about measuring more than the scale.
Mm. Yeah, it's focusing less on the number that's on the scale, which, as we all know, can be deceiving. We've spoken about it many times. There's many different reasons why the number on the scale cannot be trusted. So we need to focus on other areas. And this is where, again, we've spoken in the past about small wins and measuring our success in other ways other than what's on the scale. So we're talking about energy levels. We're talking about getting to the gym consistently, hitting your plan, 60 to 80% every week. We're talking about clothing changes, just how they fit, maybe not even a size change in clothes, just how they're fitting. We're talking about how good we feel about ourselves. We're talking about making more consistent nutritional changes, creating new habits in terms of food shopping and prepping and not having food in the house that is going to tempt you away from your plan. All these little things, they seem insignificant, but they are a measure of success.
Yeah.
And that we need to focus on them more as well to help guide our expectations.
Well said. So the next question here to ask before changing your plan, is the problem the plan or is it my environment and my recovery? So I could give you, the best plan you've ever had. Actually, I know I could comfortably.
This is question 4. Did you say that?
Question 4, yes. Could give you the best plan you've ever had. In fact, would give you the best plan you've ever had. But if your sleep, your stress, the environment that you find yourself in on a daily basis, if they're all just a gigantic dumpster fire, I don't care how good the plan is. It's not going to fix those things. So when assessing, is it the plan or is it my environment and my recovery, there's a good checklist we've put together here with this. Let's go through the checklist. What's the first one?
Sleep.
If you're sleeping, let's say, for example, consistently, 6 hours or less a night, like maybe we start there.
Yeah.
If we do an audit of your stress levels and they are through the roof more often than not, like you don't know what it's like to not feel stressed, we should probably look at that first as well.
We should probably look at the food that you've got in your house within arm's reach.
Especially if that food are what you know are your trigger foods.
Yeah.
Like when I'm having a bad day, when I'm stressed, when I'm emotional, even when I'm bored.
And I'm fatigued because I'm not sleeping well.
When I'm fatigued, I'm not sleeping well, and it impacts my decision making. And then we add stress on top of that.
Yes.
Everyone has trigger foods. And if they're well within reach, like you're only human, of course you're going to go get them.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I would. But also, talking about environment, if you're winging it week in and week out and you're not planning, you're not being as prepared as possible. Because the thing is, we talk a lot about meal planning and meal preparation. And it is fairly cliche now with how often we've spoken about it. But the benefit, probably the biggest benefit of it, maybe the biggest 2 benefits of it, 1, it allows you to make better choices more consistently.
Yes.
And 2, it reduces the amount of food-related decisions you have to make every day. The amount of energy that gives back to you, not having to think about, oh, what's for lunch, what's for dinner, what's for this, oh, what have I got? Taking that away is huge. So assessing a person's environment here is crucial.
Yes.
For example, if your pantry is a chocolate museum and you are trying to be good with your food choices, the problem is not your willpower. The problem is your environment.
Yes.
You're setting yourself up to fail because what goes in the trolley goes in your mouth.
Yes.
Now, yes, of course, the response is, oh, well, I've got a family, I've got kids. Get them to work with you to keep the stuff that you know are your trigger foods out of eyesight. You'd be surprised at out of sight, out of mind. You might also be surprised, like if Courtney came to me, like if I had trigger foods in the house that were triggers for Courtney, and she's like, I need you to make sure I can't get to them easily. I'm a foot taller than her. I'm literally putting them out of reach. I'm putting them high in the pantry where only Matt can reach.
Yes.
You work with your family
Yes.
on that. Another one on recovery and environment, like if you are scrolling doom news on your phone in bed every night until midnight, or you're up just looking at other people living their lives on Instagram until midnight, please do not expect your 6 a.m. workout to be ideal.
No.
Like,
No.
if you're sleeping like shit or you're deprived of sleep or both, there is only so much fuel in the tank.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. Like, you've got to give your body a chance.
Yeah.
So, Courtney, if the environment and or the recovery are off, what do we do?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is not change the whole plan.
No.
So don't change the whole plan, and let's spend the next
Couple of weeks. Yep.
Maybe up to a month.
Yep.
Focusing on these things.
So it might
Sleep more.
It might be one, we call it a sleep action. So it might be, you know what, maybe set an alarm. So when the alarm goes off, screen's off, phone's down, TV off, I'm going to sleep. Or it might be for some people, and we're all different like this, some people need time after they've turned the screens off for their brains to slow down.
Yes.
So it might be screens off super early and you go read a book.
Yeah. There's so many different ways you can do that these days that there's no excuse. There are alarms, as you say, that you can set on your phone. There's even apps you can download to your phone that you can set to shut your social medias off.
Really?
At a certain time, lock you out. There is apps that you can put on your phone if you are a doom scroller any time of day to actually make it a little bit harder to get into the apps. So it's not just a one-click straight on social media doom scrolling. Yes, you can still get on, but it's that extra step that just takes sometimes that brain switch off to be like, I can't be bothered waiting for that to load now. I'm just not going to bother. So there's really no excuse these days to not put these things into action if you've identified them as a problem.
Yeah, there's something you can do for sure. Like I've dealt with clients where they found it really relaxing to have an earlier screen off time and then just go read a book for half an hour and they just drift off to sleep.
Yeah.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, or even just setting an alarm for yourself to go to bed by a certain time.
Yes.
Have a certain time in mind that is your goal every night.
This is lights out time.
To get winding down. And it might be earlier than you want it to be, but
if you feel the difference in the morning, it's an immediate payoff.
Yeah.
Like you're waking up not having that heavy-headedness from lack of sleep, waking up with energy and just exploding out of bed.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's a tremendous feeling. So you want to start with a sleep action. Another one I'd look at would be an environmental action. So it could be if you are in full control of the groceries in the house, don't buy them in bulk. Like if it's in your trolley, it's going in your mouth.
Yes.
So the victory can be had at the supermarket, at the grocery store. But also it could be, depending on the household you live in, have the trigger foods moved out of sight.
Yes.
make it harder for you to access them. You'd be surprised at how easily human laziness will take over. Like I've told clients where if they've lived, for example, by themselves, or it's just them and their partner, and they're doing the same thing together, I'll say to them, like, if you want ice cream so bad that you'll get off the couch, jump in the car, and drive to the store to get some, then go for your life and please enjoy.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, you won't do it because we're humans and we are effing lazy.
Yes.
And I would also add, if the environment is the issue, we could look at adding a planning action. So literally the night before, you could take 5 minutes to plan out, what am I going to have the next day? Like, what am I going to eat? Do I have it ready? And start to build out being more and more prepared to take away the need, as I said, to make those food-related decisions.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add there?
No, I think that was it for question 4. So obviously, if the answer to the question that was question 4 is the problem, the plan, or my environment and recovery, if the answer to that question, you've ticked off all of that, saying, no, I'm nailing that part, then we move on to question 5.
Which is?
Do you really need a total new plan or just a small upgrade? And do you need help to do it?
Yes. So this is where I've seen people, I'm not even going to use the phrase shoot themselves in the foot. They blow their whole leg off here from a self-sabotage standpoint. I've seen people that I've said to them, and I can see you are on the right track. Your trajectory, the arrow's pointing up. And they give the whole thing up when all that might be needed is a 10 to 20% tweak.
Yeah.
It might be like, you might have someone where it's like, oh, actually, you're training really, really, really well in the gym. We don't need to adjust your training program at all. You just, for example, don't eat after a training session. Let's start there with that little minimal tweak. Or it could be the other way around. And I was actually having this particular chat with a friend of mine recently up at the martial arts dojo I go to, where he's been asking me a few questions for a while now, and I'm sort of getting a read on what his situation is. And we're having a chat just in general about what his habits are when he's not training at the dojo. And I realized, because he's like, oh, I'm really afraid you're going to take my coffee away from me. I'm like, no. I said, in fact, the only thing I would do for you is I would literally add strength training here. I'd make that one change. I wouldn't change anything about what you're doing with how you feed your body or the training you're doing with martial arts. I would just add 2 days a week of strength training and just see what that one change gets you. As opposed to, I'm going to overhaul your entire plan and your entire life.
Yeah.
I'm going to add this 2 hours a week.
Yes.
In the gym, doing the one thing that you don't do that I can clearly see is the lowest hanging fruit.
Yes.
And it's just a slight tweak. That could be all that could be all that's needed here. So
it's the least that we can get away with, right?
Well, the thing is, if I'm looking at someone and they want to, for example, this particular guy wants to improve his recovery, wants to improve his injury resistance, wants to punch harder, wants to kick harder, wants to be more explosive on the mats at the dojo, I can see what's missing here is the strength base. So why would I change anything else? Because if we make that one change, is to add strength training, progressive, structured strength training, if I only add that one thing, I can then assess the effectiveness of that one thing.
Yes.
If we change 5 different things, how do we know which one worked?
Yes.
So I'll start with the lowest hanging fruit. So very often, with some people, it might be, let's just modify your training slightly. Just change the split, change an exercise. For some people, it might be, let's change the time of day you do it.
Yeah. Yes.
The nighttime workouts are killing you.
Yeah.
Can you make morning work? Or vice versa. But it could also be, for example, a bit more clarity on certain non-negotiables. Like it might be for someone, and I've seen this, they're nailing so many things and it's like, right, now's the time to give them, for example, a targeted step count each day. Because walking, like a lot of people make the mistake of using walking as the primary method for weight loss, which is, it's compared to say strength training, it's not even the same ballpark. But walking, when just added on to someone who's strength training consistently and they're meal prepping consistently, is an X factor that melts the fat.
Yes.
So it might be for someone, let's now add this final piece of the puzzle. And let's just, for example, it might be bump up your step count by 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day. And that's the one thing we've changed.
Yes.
Or it could be someone who is doing very, very well, but they find themselves getting unreasonably hungry or a bit of an energy dip after lunchtime. And I observe that their breakfasts are very light on. For example, protein. And it might be the one tweak might be add some good protein to your breakfast because it's a very satiating macronutrient. Add that one thing. Let's see what it does.
Yep.
Just one tweak. When if you can make the mistake of being so in your own feelings about things that you think, oh, this whole plan's just not working, I'll chuck the whole thing out. It might just be this one tweak.
Yeah.
This one lever we need to pull that just unlocks everything else.
Yes.
Or it could be for someone that we're lacking in the data. Like this is a big one I see as well. When someone might come through and say, a client, oh, it feels like it's not working. Where do you think I'm going wrong? Well, for starters, you aren't actually filling in the accountability things we ask you to do.
Yes.
I'm guessing now.
Yeah.
So you have to get visibility on what a person is doing. So we might need to improve the accountability standards. Then once we get eyes on and like, oh, okay, I can see what your routine is. There's the weakness.
Yeah.
Bang, let's go get this. Right? So you want to ask yourself here, a couple of questions to ask yourself in this particular situation. If I had guidance and support, would this plan actually work long term? Is what I'm missing that objective external set of eyes to say, yes, you're on track, or no, just tweak this? Because I know how easy it can be to second guess yourself. And speaking of guessing, it's another question that I would recommend asking. Do I have the knowledge and do I have the skills to keep adjusting this myself?
Yeah.
Because I don't judge people like you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And it's an advantage you have when you've done it for a long time and you've been educated on it is you know what to look for, when to look for it, what to tweak, when to tweak, how to tweak, etc. So this is where it's worth mentioning with our program, the Weight Loss Podcast Academy. In situations like this, you keep the plan, you might tweak a few dials, pull a few levers here and there, and walk with you while you learn how to adjust it yourself. So there is a link to more information on the program in the episode description. Check it out if that sounds like it might be beneficial for you. Let's start to bring this one home, Courtney.
Yes.
So we've written out here a couple of example scenarios.
Scenario questions, yes.
So we'll give a couple of these scenarios here. If you've been good for 10 days or so and the scale hasn't moved, well, the answer here is actually in questions 2 and 3. Stay the course and adjust your expectations, and probably get off the scales and find a better way to measure your progress. There is a reason why we do not. How many times do we weigh our clients?
Never.
Don't need to.
No.
You just don't need to. If the habits improve, the weight takes care of itself.
Yes.
Scenario number 2, which is Courtney.
I'm smashing the gym, but my food is chaos.
How often do you hear phrases like this? I'm really good at exercise, but my food's not so good.
Or vice versa, but yes.
Actually, for me, it's more good exercise, not good food.
Oh, really?
9 times out of 10 at least. Maybe 9.5 times out of 10 is that. The answer there is questions 1 and 4. you do not need a new program. You probably just need more sort of staple meals and an actual structure and a framework to work with.
Yes.
Scenario number 3.
I keep starting strong, then ghosting my plan after 3 weeks.
The person that goes MIA super early. The answer here lie in questions 1 and 5. The plan might be too hard. We assess that first. We may need to simplify. Do not sleep on the power of simplification with this. The more you simplify things, usually the better the outcome. But also, honestly, you're lacking accountability.
Yeah.
You probably need someone to hold your butt to the fire.
Mm.
All right, Courtney,
Yes.
let's wrap this one up. So this week, you, not you,
No.
you listening, you watching, your job is only this. If you're at this stage where you are second guessing your plan, before you touch or change a thing, sit down with a pen and paper on your computer, on your laptop, on your phone, and answer these 5 questions honestly.
Yeah.
And what's the action from there?
The action from there is to only pick one change based on your answers and commit to it over the next 2 weeks.
At least the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, probably more, but at least commit
Just start there.
to start within the next 2 weeks to that one change. Again, comes back to simplification. You might have a lot more than one thing on your list, but just pick one.
Well, you might be surprised that one change might be all you need to change to get what you want.
Yeah.
Why do more than you have to?
Yeah.
Like I always call this the lazy person's way to weight loss.
Yes.
Is what's the minimum I have to do to get what I want?
Yes.
You know, it's like that friend of mine that said, "Oh, are you going to take away my coffee?" It's like,
No.
coffee's not the problem.
Not a monster.
Yeah, it's also not a monster. Cool. So, Courtney,
Yes.
we're done.
We're done.
So, as I said before, if you want to learn more about the program that we've got, if you think that might be what you need right now, is having someone there with you, basically to make sure you don't shoot yourself in the foot. The link is in the episode description. Go check it out. Other than that, we're done.
We're done. We'll see you next time.
Give it to me. See you soon.
Are you ready to share your success? Head over to our website for full access to our show notes, resources based on today's topic, and links to our Facebook group so you can share your story with our hosts and many others out there who are looking to achieve and maintain their health and fitness goals. You can find all that and more exclusively at theweightlosspodcast.com.